Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Are you a survivor of abuse or other trauma? Are you tired of feeling stuck, silent, and stressed all the time? This is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with more inner peace and joy. Are you ready to eliminate suffering from your life and transform from a survivor to thriver? Then congratulations, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Hey, welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show. In our last episode, I'd been sharing with you the impact going through 9/11 had on my life. It forced me to step out of my comfort zone and start to speak up and speak out about what was going on, what I was experiencing, what I believed in as a Muslim, and just sharing my beliefs, sharing about my life, about who I was, and I found that to be a really empowering process. There's just so much misinformation out there, and there's even to this day, there continues to be so many misconceptions about Islam and Muslims and what we believe and who we are, that even just me sharing about me, my life, my family, that was something that was that became like hugely important, and it was welcomed and it was needed. And as I got more and more used to speaking out and speaking up, I started to develop this inner confidence, the sense of greater and greater faith, without even realizing it, in my ability to just talk about anything that may be on my mind. And I started to think that I couldn't stay silent anymore, that I needed to go and tell someone about what I had experienced as a child, as a victim of child sexual abuse, and the struggles that I was going through in trying to heal with that and get some help, And the more I just got used to speaking in general, the more this urge to speak up and just tell anyone about this one particular thing, the stronger that urge got within me. And the more, almost desperate, I really kind of reached a point of desperation where I started to feel like, oh my God, if I don't tell someone now, I'm going to burst. I just can't hold it in anymore. I have to tell somebody. But the thing was, who do I tell? I was still too scared and still too confused and felt too ashamed and guilty and didn't know how I might be received, if I would be believed, and what the consequences might be, if I told anyone in my family about what had happened, how it might impact our family relationships, my family relationships, because the person who abused me was not only still alive, they were actually a member of my own family, my extended family. And they were someone that was still very much trusted and respected within the family. So for me, because of all the shame and guilt that I also felt, And the other reasons because of which fear had taken hold of me, I really couldn't, even at that time, even after all these years, 12 years by this point had gone by, I still couldn't imagine telling my family about what had happened. It was just too scary a proposition. So I was like, oh my God, who do I go to? Who can I speak to? The good news for me was that I was in college at that time. And college was this amazing place, and I had access to so many resources. And actually, once I really started thinking about this, about who could I go to, who could I tell that, I could feel really safe talking to, without me safe in the sense of that I knew that they wouldn't judge me, that they would understand that, and that they wouldn't go back and tell my parents or tell anyone else in my family what I told them, right? All these things are very important to me. So I started thinking about who could that be? Who could that be? And actually, once I started thinking about it, I was amazed to find out that I had multiple options for who that person could be. I had actually developed really close connections with more than one professor on campus. There was a club on campus called the Clothesline Project that, the Clothesline Project, if you're not familiar with it, it's an organization that they build their chapters throughout different colleges and universities, and their mission is to raise awareness about different kinds of abuse and assault and rape, and to speak up and speak out about these things and educate the community about it, and also create a safe space for survivors of abuse and rape to come together and connect with each other and take action to change things and to empower themselves. So I was like, maybe I could go there and talk to somebody. Or, oh my gosh, we also have a psychological services center where, as a student, I can go and get free counseling sessions, sign up for free counseling sessions. So it's like, oh, wow, once, it's amazing. Like, once you really put your mind, you shift your focus from the problem to the solution, and you put your mind to it, you start to see the possibilities emerge, the different options emerge, right? So finally, I made a choice. The one that I thought would be the safest choice for me, with the least amount of risk in terms of anyone else finding out that I didn't want to find out, and making sure that I was fully understood and was in the most compassionate hands and the most capable hands, was a psychologist. I was like, okay, I'm going to go sign up for a counseling session with our psychologist on campus. And that idea also really attracted me, because if you remember, the very first time I learned about child sexual abuse was through reading a magazine article, and that article had been written by a psychologist, and that was the moment, the learning, the incident, the cause that had motivated me to commit to pursuing psychology as a field of study, for myself. So I was like, let me go and talk to a real life psychologist. So I signed up for the free counseling session. And even as I signed up, even as I walked into the student counseling centers for my appointment, the day of my appointment, I still wasn't sure that I would be able to go and actually fully reveal what had happened, and I wasn't sure that I'd be able to really go through with it. I still had, part of me still had that fear and that doubt that I just wouldn't be able to talk about it. I knew that I really wanted to, that I really needed to. I felt that desperate sense, but I wasn't fully sure that I could, because I'd spent the last 12 years of my life believing that I couldn't for so many different reasons, right? So I actually formed this like backup plan in my mind that once I got in to see the counselor, if I found myself unable to talk to her about what was really on my mind, that I had this, like, I came up with this whole list actually of, okay, I can talk to her about this, this, and this, just so I have like so I'd be ready with that backup plan in case at the last moment I found myself unable to do it. So I went in, and I remember it was 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon that I got my appointment, and the name of my counselor was Elizabeth, and she was this white lady, and she was, just a very sweet, nice looking person, and she welcomed me in and had me sit down and just asked me like, so what brings you in today? How can I help you? And, something just clicked or shifted, and I don't know, all the fear and the anxiety that I'd been feeling of, will I be able to talk to her, will I not, it just all kind of disappeared and vanished, and just the words started to pour out of my mouth, and Elizabeth just listened for the most part. And there were certain points when she would stop me and ask a clarifying question, and then I'd keep pouring out, and other times she would stop me and she would say, let me repeat back to you what I heard you say, and she would repeat my own words back to me, and it was like this amazing experience. And it just, in some ways, it almost felt like an out-of-body experience, in the sense that I was like, is this really like me talking so easily about these things that I had kept hidden and secret, for 12 years and been so scared to talk about all this time, that it burdened my soul, and just like consumed, like my life had been consumed by this huge silence. And now in this moment, like, all of that was just evaporated, disappeared, gone, and it was just so easy to just sit there and talk to Elizabeth at that time. And then our session for that day was like 50 minutes. So after 50 minutes, it was like, wow, the time just flew by, and it was time for me to go. And it was like, yes, well, you're welcome to come back. When you on your way out, feel free to schedule your next session. I'll be happy to see you next time, Elizabeth told me. And as I walked out of the Student Psychological Services Center, I was literally, I felt like I was floating on air, and I found myself skipping out of the building and across campus, and this huge smile on my face, and I couldn't contain that smile. I couldn't stop smiling. I just felt so light and so free, And it was just this amazing moment, an amazing experience of healing and breakthrough. This huge breakthrough, And from that time on, I knew that it was not true. All these years, I'd believed that I could not tell anyone about what had happened, and now I knew that was not true. I knew that from this moment on, it was my choice to share or not what had happened to me with whomever I wanted to. That was just the most amazing, empowering thing. So I see the time. Time to wrap up this episode. I'll pick up from right here next episode. And in the meanwhile, I wish you lots of peace and joy and give you my usual reminder that I love to hear from you. So please connect with me. Just go to www.academyofthriving.com, and from our contact us page, you will be able to easily access all the information you need to connect with me through email, phone, or even social media. Facebook, right, is my favorite preferred medium if you're going to go for social media. So connect with me. I love to hear from you. And until I see you tomorrow, I wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.